Morning students. Today we are going to see the continuation of the second chapter, this periodic classification of elements. In last video we saw about the features of periods, features of groups and the modern periodic table. Today we are going to see the periodicity, that is periodic properties like atomic radius, ionic radius, ionization energy, electronegativity, electron affinity. So periodicity means anything which repeats itself after a regular interval is called periodicity. So first we are going to see about atomic radius. We know an atom which is looking like a sphere. Inside the protons and neutrons will be present, and outside only the electrons will be revolving in a circular path. So atomic radius means, radius we know, radius means in the circle, the middle part, that is the midpoint to the circumference of the circle, we call it as a radius. So in an atom, the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell containing the valence electrons. What do you mean by valence electron? The electron which is present in the outermost shell is called as a valence electrons. So atomic radius of an atom is defined as the distance between the center of a nucleus and the outermost shell containing the valence electrons. Its measurement of the radius is an isolated atom is not possible. That means except for noble gases, the atomic radius is referred to as covalent radius or metallic radius. That means, for example, if you take a helium, neon, argon, krypton, that is the direct measurement of the radius is not possible for the noble gases. But for other elements except noble gases, remaining all the elements, atomic radius can easily be measured. So atomic radius is otherwise known as metallic radius. That means if any metal if you taking, for example, for sodium is a metal. Sodium having a 11 electron outermost shell. In outermost shell, that is total number of electrons is 11. So 2 electrons in the first shell, 8 electrons in the second shell, and only 1 electron in the outermost shell. But in the nucleus, it contains 11 protons and 11 neutrons. So the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost electron present in an atom is called as a atomic radius. And if we take an example for metal, we call it as a metallic radius. It is then metallic radius is also defined as half the distance between the nuclei of adjacent metal atom. So atomic radius definition is very, very important. 2 mark question. Next, I am going to explain about the definition for covalent radius. That is, if a radius, if you are finding for metal, we call it as a metallic radius. Suppose non-metal, for example, hydrogen molecule, oxygen molecule, chlorine molecule, nitrogen molecule. So these are all non-metal. In non-metallic elements, their atomic radius is known as covalent radius. So it is defined as half the distance between the nuclei of 2 covalently bonded atoms. That means if one hydrogen atom, then next nearby one hydrogen atom. So one hydrogen atom center point and the other hydrogen atom center point, if you draw a line, means this is called as a covalent radius. Half the distance between the nuclei of 2 covalently bonded atoms of the same element in a molecule. Same element means H2, O2, N2, Cl2, like that. For example, if we consider hydrogen molecule, that is H2 molecule, the distance between the 2 hydrogen nuclei of the molecule is 0.74 Armstrong. That is 2 hydrogen nucleus. Distance is 0.74. So for one hydrogen atom, the covalent radius means 0.74 divided by 2, we get 0.37 Armstrong. So Armstrong is nothing but 10 to the power minus 10 meter. So covalent radius means in non-metallic element, their atomic radius we call it as a covalent radius. This is only for the similar atoms, that is hydrogen molecule, O2 molecule, N2 molecule, etc. Next topic is ionic radius. So if an atom, the distance between the nucleus and outermost electron means atomic radius. If we consider an ion, there are 2 types. One is cation and other one is anion. So neutral atom means there is an equal number of proton and electron. Is called as neutral atom. What do you mean by cation? When a neutral atom loses one electron, that is losses 1 electron or 2 electron, then it becomes a positively charged ion. We call it as a cation. So listen carefully. When a neutral atom loses one or more electron, it becomes a positively charged ion. We call it as a cation. Suppose if the neutral atom gain an electron, it forms a negatively charged ion. We call it as an anion. So this is called as a cation and anion. So in the cation and anion, the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost electron, we call it as an ionic radius. The next one is ionization energy. So the word itself, the answer is there. Energy we know, that is some amount of energy we are going to give. Ionization means, so normal atom, it is called as a neutral atom. For removing the outermost electron, we have to supply some energy. That energy we call it as an ionization energy or ionization enthalpy. Now I am giving the definition. It is defined as the minimum energy required to remove an electron from the gaseous atom in its ground state. Ground state means stable state. So if you give a minimum amount of energy required to remove the electron. So for removing the outermost electron from the gaseous atom, we have to give minimum amount of energy. That energy we call it as a ionization enthalpy, and it is measured in unit is called as kilojoule per mole. Kj per mole is called as kilojoule per mole. If you compare the ionization energy moving from left to right in a period. So in the first video I said about what is period and what is group. Now I am going to explain how the ionization energy vary in the group as well as in period. See, as the atomic size decreases from left to right, that means moving from left to right, the more energy is required to remove the electron. So the ionization energy increases along the period. But when we coming down the group, atomic size increases. So moving from left to right, atomic size decreases. From down a group, atomic size increases. So the valence electrons are loosely bound. Hence less amount of energy is given to remove the electron. So overall I am saying ionization energy decreases down the group and increases across the period. Next topic is electron affinity. That is that is ionization energy is just opposite is called as electron affinity. In ionization energy, the minimum amount of energy required to remove the electron. But here in electron affinity, the amount of energy released when a gaseous atom gains an electron. There loses an electron, here gains an electron. Their amount of energy is required, here the amount of energy is released. So once again I explain the definition. The electron affinity means the amount of energy released when a gaseous atom gains an electron. For example, if chlorine, if you take chlorine, atomic number is 17. Its configuration is first shell 2, second shell 8 and the third shell is 7 electron. To attain the octet configuration, chlorine need one more electron. So it accepts one electron, and when chlorine atom plus one electron accepting means it becomes anion Cl minus, but at the same time some amount of energy is released. That energy we call it as a electron affinity. Electron affinity also increases across the left to right and decreases from top to bottom. The next one important question that is more to know, why noble gases have that is zero electron affinity? Because noble gases already having octet configuration. That means if you take any noble gas except helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, all the noble gases contains outermost 8 electrons. So it is completely filled. So there is no chance for accepting or removing the electron. So there is no tendency to accept the electrons because the outer s and p orbitals of noble gases are completely filled. Therefore, the electron affinities are equal to 0. The next heading is electronegativity. Electronegativity means the tendency of an atom to attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself. For example, if you take hydrogen chloride, HCl, in between H and Cl, one bond is there. This bond is called as a covalent bond. We know covalent bond is made up of the sharing of electrons that is hydrogen one electron is donated and chlorine atom also donating one electron to make a bond. But when we compare the electronegativity of hydrogen and chlorine, chlorine is more strong electronegative atom. So this chlorine atom share the pulls towards the electrons to move towards itself. So the tendency of an atom to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself in a covalent bond. Example, consider HCl molecule. Both the hydrogen and chlorine atom share one electron each to form the covalent bond between them. But chlorine atom has a higher electronegativity value. Hence, it pulls the shared electrons towards itself more strongly than hydrogen. So, when we compare the electronegativity values of hydrogen and chlorine, chlorine is more electronegativity and hence it pulls the shared electron towards itself more strongly than hydrogen. So, thus the bond easily breaks. The bonding electrons are left with the chlorine forming H plus and Cl minus. So, there is one diagram for the relative electronegativity of H and Cl. And also, the electronegativity value is based on various experimental data such as bond energy, ionization potential, and electron affinity value. So, Pauling is a scientist who gave a scale to determine the electronegativity value, whether the bonding is a pure ionic bond or covalent bond. So, by using the Pauling scale value, we can easily determine that is what type of bond, ionic or covalent. The electronegativity of some of the elements are given. These maybe comes for a objective type question. Fluorine 4.0, chlorine 3.0, bromine 2.8, iodine 2.5, hydrogen 2.1 and sodium 1. So when we compare all these elements, fluorine having the highest value, that is 4. So electronegativity is high maximum for fluorine atom and sodium is very less, that is equal to 1. If the electronegativity difference between two elements, for example H and Cl, if the value of the two elements difference is 1.7, means the bond is 50% ionic character and 50% covalent character. That is, if it is equal to 1.7. Suppose it is less than 1.7, means fully it is a pure covalent in nature. If the difference value is greater than 1.7, means it is said to be an ionic. Once again I repeat, when the electronegativity difference between two elements is equal to 1.7, means the nature of the bond is 50% ionic and 50% covalent. If the difference is less than 1.7, it is purely covalent. Greater than 1.7 means it is purely ionic. So far children, we discussed about that periodicity property like atomic radius, covalent radius, ionic radius, then what is ionization energy, and what is electron affinity, and what is electronegativity, and how the electronegativity values predicts the nature of the bond. So thank you children.